Here's a short clip on the production of a banana caramel mousse cake. Essentially, it's a cake that's lined with a jacon sponge, which is an almond sponge, and layered with a caramel and banana mousse. We start the process by making a chocolate twirl paste, which is spread thinly over some greaseproof paper, and then using a card comb, we scrape it through the paste to end up with a squiggle effect. That's then put in the fridge. We start to proceed to make the almond sponge. We make a light meringue, and then the light meringue is beaten into a mixture of icing sugar, ground almonds, butter and flour, and then we combine them all together. It's sort of a heavier type of sponge. You see the technique here where the student is folding from the middle of the sponge to the outside. This way we incorporate most of the air from the egg whites and we don't knock too much of it out. We then take the chilled twirl paste, which is firmed up, and now we can spread over the sponge to about a thickness of about 5 or 6 millimeters. Nice and even, and it's important that it's even so that we don't get crispy bits around the edges. Then place into a hot oven around about 220 for about 5 to 6 minutes until dry. We take it out and then turn it onto some heavily sugared greaseproof paper, taking care at this stage as it's a little bit fragile. You can normally just peel away the paper if it's good quality greaseproof, but if it's not, you may need to brush it with a little bit of water. This will help steam it off and release the paper. Then, once it's cooled, we then cut it into long strips. You see it's cooled there, and line a cake mould with some greaseproof paper and place in the strips of decorative jacon sponge. We then make the caramel filling by caramelising some sugar, quite dark sort of consistency. To that dark caramel we add some warm cream and a little bit of softened gelatine and a bit of vanilla for flavour. Being careful here, it's very, very hot. And then we add to that the butter. It's important that we get that caramel really dark so we get a good intensity of flavour. Then we pass it and we make a sabayon and lightly whip some cream. This is called a bomb mix. We then go about combining the sabayon into the caramel mix and then folding in the cream, trying to keep as much aeration as possible. It's important here that we don't have the base mix too warm when we add the cream, otherwise it'll melt the cream and we'll end up with a separation happening later on. Making sure we're just whisking it there, just making sure that all the lumps of cream are removed and it's nice and smooth. It's quite a wet mix. That's poured into the mould about 2/3 of the way out and allowed to set. While that's setting, we saute some bananas and a little bit of caster sugar and butter, and we allow them to cool. And they get poured over or spread over the top of the caramel mix. That's allowed to set. While not in the clip, we prepare a banana mousse, which is essentially bananas, a little bit of sugar, some gelatine that are pureed together, and then we add to that some whipped cream and pour it in. We'll leave it to set for a few hours, and we can take a slice, present like so. You're seeing that jacon effect there at the end, quite decorative. This works for an individual cake as well.